Hey guys, so now we are in 3D mode of the walkthrough feature. So as you can see, same basic look as if we were working in editor. It's as if you're standing in the space. You can see all of the textures. And the camera that we are looking from, you can see is indicated here as an orange circle because this is the camera that we set in 2D mode as the first camera of our walkthrough. So that's where it's going to start us off when we head into 3D mode. Now to navigate around the space, we can click on next camera or previous camera, which I'll show you in a second. Or as you see here on the floor throughout the hallway, you can also just click on these circles, which is indicating the placement of the cameras from 2D mode. So if I click there, it'll zoom me in and kind of walk me along. This is a perfect example of a camera that is facing the wrong direction, right? So what we're gonna do here in 3D mode is I'm gonna hold down my left click and I'm just gonna orbit, basically just grabbing hold of the wall and dragging it to the left in this case. To turn my camera around, and I want it to be looking at the hallway from this angle, I can hold down my left click and move my mouse up and down to look up and down. So maybe I set it there, and then I'm going to click on Set First Frame. So what this is doing, and then click Done. What this is doing as my clients get this walkthrough and they're walking through the space, if they're clicking from camera to camera, keep in mind, like I said in one of the earlier videos, your client will be able to use their mouse and look up, down, and all around. So it's not that this is the only view that they can get from this camera. This is just the first view that they're going to get. So rather than having them look at the wall, we're going to turn them around and have them looking at the hallway, and then they can peruse more from their computer. So that's the first step. We'll go through all of these cameras, make sure that they're pointing in the direction that we want to, and then we will generate. So I'll click here. This is looking at this picture. It's a little close, so what I might do is navigate back to 2D mode by selecting this square here and then moving this camera back all the way up against this back wall so that it's taking in a larger look at this picture frame rather than being so close. I'm going to click on Next Camera. It's going to take me into the space. Again, I'm just going to have this giving me a nice centered look at the room. To start, click on Set First Frame and then click Done. Okay, you'll notice that in 2D mode and in 3D mode, you have the option of setting your lighting. So if you want to see how that light is coming in through the space, rather than setting this in 2D mode, you can do it here in 3D, and you get that visual as you move the sun around, coming through the windows, and the same exact process for your lighting, which again, if you haven't watched the render videos on getting the perfect lighting, go ahead and give that a watch. It's the same exact process here. When I click on cameras, this is yet another way to, let me move my face, to jump from camera to camera. So rather than clicking here on these little guys or clicking on the floor, you can just go into our living space here and click all around and make sure that each camera is giving you the set start frame that you want. And there we go. We have a nice view all around. So the software did a good job at kind of generating these default positions that I really had to move very little. This is taking us into the hallway to get a nice overall view of the space. You can set the starting point here as well. Just keep in mind, set starting point is going to be the first camera that your walkthrough begins with when your client gets this link. Set first frame is the angle that your camera is going to be placed in or pointed at, or the view that your camera is going to see. So those are different. I know they sound similar, but it's a different thing. So you don't want to accidentally be setting your start point thinking that you're setting the angle, and then you keep clicking that, and then all you're doing is changing the first camera for the walkthrough, right? So just keep that in mind. Okie dokie. I'm happy with this. What we can do from here is head back into 2D mode and we can preview this walkthrough before we generate. So just by clicking on that square again, I'm brought back to 2D mode. Oops. I double clicked. You can just click once. There we go. I'm going to move this camera back like I said, and then we'll go ahead and select preview before we click on generate to make sure that we like what we see. Here we are. So this is giving us a 3D view. This isn't the photorealistic render view of the walkthrough yet. That will happen once we clicked on generate, but this is the 3D view. We can use these arrows to navigate from camera to camera, or like I said earlier, we can click on the cameras here on the floor. We can also, and your client will have this option, there will be a window, which I'll show you next, where they can click on the specific cameras throughout the space using this kind of aerial perspective. So 3 different ways to navigate around the space. Once they're there, this is their starting frame, but they can simply hold down their left click and look up at the ceiling, look down, turn all around, just like kind of Google Maps if you were walking down a street and looking at the houses side to side. They can look outside, turn 360, check out everything that's going on this wall, and then navigate to a new camera, either manually or simply by clicking on the arrows. Okay, so those are the most important tools in 3D mode of the walkthrough. When we're ready to generate, we're going to click on this back button to exit the preview, and then we select generate. It's going to show me how many credits are required, how many I have, all of the camera views, so I have 10 views total, and then I'm going to click on submit. Once this is submitted, it's going to load and generate under the View Gallery window in the same exact place where your renders generate. So again, this will generate behind the scenes. You can go back to work now that it says that it's been submitted successfully. You can go back to work working on other areas of the space, on generating renders, whatever it may be. You don't have to stay in render mode or in walkthrough mode, and that will generate right here under the gallery. You'll see I have renders. I have one walkthrough already generated, and this new one is now processing. So in the next video, I'll give you a walkthrough of our walkthrough that we generated here, and you can see what that looks like as a 3D photorealistic walkthrough. I'll see you guys in the next one.